Hey Samii Squad, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be giving you 20 tips for starting a channel or 20 tips for new YouTubers. Obviously, anyone watching this video can use these tips. It's not just for new YouTubers or people starting a channel, but I do get a lot of similar comments or DMs where people ask me for tips because they are starting a new channel and they don't really know what to do because they're inexperienced. So this video is kind of dedicated to those people, but once again, anyone watching this video can use these tips. Before we get this video started, I of course want to give a couple of shoutouts. I'm feeling very generous today, so I want to give 3 shoutouts just like my previous video. So the first shoutout goes to my friend Simply Bubbly, the second shoutout goes to Anastasia, and the third shoutout goes to Delicious Peaches. So thank you all so much for commenting. If you would like a chance to get a shoutout in one of my future videos, then all you have to do is comment down below something positive and you may just get a shoutout. So with that being said, let's just get started with the first tip. So the first tip is to choose a unique channel name. This is pretty straight to the point, but I feel like having a unique channel name is super important. Try not to copy other people's channel names. Try to be unique and original. Maybe if you like puppies, kittens, unicorns, try to kind of incorporate something that you like maybe in your channel name. Just be creative with it. Maybe before changing your channel name, just search it up to see if anyone else has it. So that's it for tip number 1, and now we're going to move on to tip number 2, which is to use what you have. So this tip may sound a little bit confusing, but pretty much it's just really self-explanatory. A lot of people kind of have this misconception that you have to have a super expensive setup or that you have to have super expensive equipment in order to actually start a channel, which is so not true. That is false. You don't need to have super expensive equipment or super expensive anything. No matter what you want to be, if you want to be an artist, if you want to be a vlogger, you don't have to have a super expensive camera or supplies. What's the point in buying something super expensive and then it just going to waste because you realize that it's not something you even want to move on with, if that makes any sense? So just use what you have, and if you actually do end up liking YouTube, then you can go ahead and invest in something. That is tip number 2, and now we're going to move on to tip number 3, which is to write a list of video ideas. This is so important. I cannot stress enough to tell you guys that you definitely should write just a little list of video ideas. Actually, I think you should write as many video ideas as you can possibly think of, because it's just nice to have as many video ideas as you can, because me as a YouTuber, I'm sure many other YouTubers have been at this point where they don't know what kind of videos to make, and it's kind of stressful because you obviously don't want to make just random videos. You don't want to put out effortless videos, so just make sure to kind of connect with your subscribers and communicate with them and ask them what kind of videos they want to see from you, and don't just make videos that you're not really putting your best effort into. Okay, so now that we're done with tip number 3, we're going to move on to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is to create a banner and profile picture. So I'll just pop up a couple examples on the screen right now. So here's mine, here's Amberry's, Feeberry's, my friend Simply Bubbly's, my friend Callie's, my friend Spookles. So as you guys can see, we all have a profile picture and a banner, and this is, I feel really important because people, when they come to your channel, it's kind of eye-catching. It doesn't have to be super fancy or super detailed. For example, mine is very simple, but also it's not too simple. I feel it's kind of eye-catching just because the colors are kind of nice, I guess. I don't know, that's just personally what I think. And mine is very simple. I created it with a site called Pixlr. It's for free. I'm sure there's other free sites and resources, but just try to use something free and just try to be creative with your banners and profile pictures. But yeah, that's super simple, but I feel when people come to your channel, that makes them also want to subscribe. When they see that you don't really have anything, it kind of makes it seem like you're just starting, which, I mean, yeah, obviously most of you watching are probably new YouTubers. So that's tip number 4, and now we're going to move on to tip number 5. So tip number 5 is to be consistent and persistent. So I feel consistency and persistency is pretty similar. If you're not consistent, I feel people aren't going to take you seriously. If you're uploading only once a month, I just feel there's no point in even starting a channel. I don't want to seem mean in any way, but I'm being honest. I feel I even myself could upload so much more, and I'm really gonna start to get better at that. If you're super busy, maybe just try to pick days that you're not busy, obviously. So I know a lot of you guys are in school right now, so you're probably going to be really busy during school days. Just try to set some sort of schedule that kind of fits in with your lifestyle or whatever, if that makes any sense. So for example, you can set a schedule for Monday, Thursdays, and Sundays, or Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. But I feel like it's actually better to set a schedule because then people know when to come back and watch your videos. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. So that is tip number 5, and now we're going to move on to tip number 6, which is just simply to be yourself. So I've mentioned this so much, even in Q&As, whenever people ask me for tips. This is so important. Just be yourself. I feel like a lot of people, even myself when I first started, I used to kind of feel like when I started my channel I had to act different because people would judge me. I don't care about the people that don't like me for me being me. Like, does that make sense? That's tip number 6, and now we're going to move on to tip number 7, which is to be committed. This is kind of similar to being consistent and persistent, but being committed is also super important. I keep on saying that all these tips are super important, but they really are. So being committed pretty much is just taking it seriously. Like, be committed. If you start a channel for a reason. Kind of set a goal for yourself. That is pretty much tip number 7. There's really not much to say about that one. The next tip is tip number 8, which is not to compare yourself to others. So pretty much don't compare yourself to others. So this tip is super important because I feel like a lot of people, when they start their channel, they always compare themselves to people. They're like, this person has so many subscribers, I'm never gonna get there. Don't compare yourself to others. That will just honestly bring you down and make you feel like you're not worth it, and make you kind of feel like you shouldn't continue with YouTube. Just because somebody else is getting better results than you doesn't mean that you shouldn't continue doing what you love. So anyways, the next tip is number 9, which is to be patient. YouTube takes a lot of patience. It's not like you're gonna grow in a day. It's not like you're gonna get 10,000 subscribers in like a week. Maybe if you get a shout out from a YouTuber that has a lot of subscribers, maybe that's possible, but for most people that's not really how it happens. You don't just wake up one day and you have like 1,000 subscribers. That's usually not how it works. So you just have to be patient. It took me quite a while to get to where I am. Obviously, it was something that I had to actually work for. Keep on uploading and being consistent and active and committed. So just be patient. Pretty simple, but also very important. The next tip is tip number 10, which is to edit your videos. This one's super simple. I don't really need to get into this, but I feel like editing is pretty crucial because it's something that you don't need to do, but I feel like when you're starting your channel, you could just do some basic editing. Just edit out the parts that you really feel like people don't really need to see. Like if you're going to take a snack break, or if you're going to, I don't know, get a drink, or if you're going to have a conversation. I don't know, just edit that out. Like, nobody really needs to see that, and that's just a waste of time. Try to be as entertaining as you can with your videos. Try to test out your editor. Be unique with your editing. Don't always copy other YouTubers. Just be yourself. I always leave in the description what I used to edit, what I used to record, by the way. That's why I don't usually answer comments when people ask me, but I do use Davinci Resolve to edit my videos. It's so amazing, honestly. It's kind of similar to iMovie, but more advanced, I'd say. So now, tip number 11, make a channel trailer. So if you guys don't know what a channel trailer is, it's very straight to the point. It's pretty much where you just explain to your audience or your subscribers what kind of videos they can expect on your channel. So once you upload your very first video, well, the channel trailer usually is typically the first video, but once you upload your second video, which will be your actual gameplay or whatever, they'll know what to expect. You can start it off by saying, welcome to my channel, I am ... On this channel you can expect to see these kind of videos. And yeah, moving on to tip number 12. This is to make long videos, or make longer videos. So I don't recommend making like 2-minute, 5-minute videos. I'm not saying you have to make like 30-minute videos, hour-long videos, but try to at least make like 10 to 15-minute videos. I feel like that's a good range. But yeah, just try to make those longer videos because people really do love those. So tip number 13 is to not clickbait, or don't clickbait at all. I really don't recommend this. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of popular YouTubers do this, and it just frustrates me so much. I feel like nobody likes clickbait, but a lot of YouTubers do it because they obviously want to get more views. They want people to click on the video, but I feel like by doing that, you're just misleading people. Clickbait is pretty much just misleading somebody into clicking clicking on the video. So for example, you can be misled by the title or the thumbnail. So you'll pretty much put something in the title or thumbnail that has nothing to do with the video. It doesn't relate whatsoever. And I feel like that's just so misleading and it needs to stop, honestly. Some YouTubers are kind of known for it, honestly, at this point, but especially if you're just starting your channel, don't clickbait. Okay, so the next tip is tip number 14, which is don't start YouTube just for the money. I feel like a lot of people these days just start YouTube for the wrong purposes. I'm not gonna get too much into that, but yeah, pretty much just don't start it for the money. Start it for like a purpose. Start it because you want to inspire people, because you want to send a positive message. Just start it because of something that makes you happy or something like that. Just don't start it for the money. So tip number 15 is to have interesting titles. You may notice that a lot of YouTubers put their titles in all caps. I personally do this. When I first started my channel, I feel like I never did this. I used to use emojis in my title, which I feel like emojis kind of are eye-catching too, but sometimes they can kind of be too distracting, especially if it has nothing to do with the video. Don't just put like a bunch of random emojis in your title. Just try to be as creative as you can. So maybe put like an event that happened in the video. So for example, if you're playing Flee the Facility and you realize that there's like a level 200 and they're the beast in the game, you could be like playing Flee the Facility with a level 200 beast. I don't know, something that you know people will click on. So tip number 16 is to avoid using copyright music in your videos. So pretty much copyright music is music usually that artists make. So you can't use your favorite Ariana Grande song, or you can't use your favorite Billie Eilish song because you will get copyrighted. There's some artists that, like, I feel like underrated artists that may allow you to, but even if you get their permission, sometimes they will still copyright you, which kind of is unfortunate, and I know it sucks. I personally get 99% of my music from the YouTube audio library. Some music from the YouTube audio library, there will be like this little person beside it, and if you click on like the little down arrow or whatever, if you click on that, pretty much it'll tell you to just copy that and put it in the description of your video. If you use copyright music in your videos, that can lead to copyright strikes, which is even worse, and that can actually get your channel completely taken down. So tip number 17 is to use hashtags. This one is not really super important. I don't really know why I added this one, but pretty much hashtags, you can just put them at the very bottom of your description, and you could put, I don't know, your channel name, and so pretty much every time somebody clicks on that hashtag, it'll bring up the video. It's not something that's super important, but I feel like it's good, especially if you're doing like a giveaway or an art contest, and you could tell your audience or subscribers to use this hashtag, so that way if they make a video and they put that hashtag in their description, their video will pop up. I feel like it's just really cool. My next tip is tip number 18, which is to make thumbnails for your videos. I'm not sure why this is one of the last tips, but I feel like this is so important. Thumbnails are pretty much like the little preview picture that you see before clicking on a video. I love making thumbnails. I've done 2 tutorials on it. I'll link those in the description down below. They're very significant, I feel like, because if you just have like a black screen as your preview picture, then people aren't usually gonna click on that because it's not very eye-catching. Try to make something eye-catching. It doesn't necessarily have to be like bright, but just try to make something interesting and kind of try to find your own style. Don't copy other people. You can get inspiration, but don't copy people. There's a difference between inspiration and completely just copying other YouTubers. So tip number 19 is don't make YouTube your #1 priority. I was contemplating on adding this one to the list because I feel like people will get really confused by this, but I feel like you shouldn't make YouTube your #1 priority because there's other things that are more important. Sorry to break it to you, but it's true. So what I mean by that is family, your health, friends, people that you love. Like, don't cut those people off just to do YouTube. Remember, family comes first, school comes first, all of that stuff. Don't drain your eyes out editing all day just to get a video up. It'll just distance you from the things that matter most in life. So now, moving on to the last and final tip, tip number 20. So tip number 20 is to ignore hate. This for me is one of the most important tips on the list because no matter what you do, you could be literally the most innocent person. You could literally just upload a video for fun. You could literally upload the most inspirational video and you're still gonna get hate. Like, I'm sorry to break it to you, but seriously, there's people in this world that will literally just try to bring you down so bad for no reason. It's kind of something that comes along with YouTube that you never really think of. Like, when I first started my channel, I never thought I would ever get hate because I'm literally just making videos. You would never think that you're gonna get hate for just simply doing something you love, but it's reality, I guess. People just hate because they're behind a screen and they know that you can't really do anything about it, and sometimes it gets out of hand. So just ignore the hate. Never reply to hate, guys. It's the worst mistake. And stay positive, and just, if you are getting hate and you're really emotional and a sensitive person, just try to talk to people about it. Like, talk to your friends about it, and just try to talk to people that you know will make you feel happy. So those are all the tips for this video. I can't believe I finally made it. I've been holding back on this video because I didn't know if I wanted to make it or not. I don't usually make these type of videos, but if you guys enjoy these type of videos, comment down below if you'd like me to make more videos like this. I love doing these kind of videos because I love helping you guys out in any way possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed these 20 tips. Again, these are not just for new YouTubers, but I wanted to be more specific since I usually get these type of comments from newer YouTubers that want to know some tips for starting their channels. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye guys!